So this year, one thing I wanted to do with the improvised garden channel was to try and post an update every week or two, um, just of the highlights and like the jobs we've done, and then maybe every month do a more complete thing and some other videos as we go along. So while I've been talking, you've been just looking at a little bit of footage from the hives when they were fairly active. And this, of course, is the magnificent asparagus that you may or may not have seen. I mean, just look at how beautiful that one asparagus is. These are some replacement currant bushes, red currants, that got put in. Hopefully they will do better than the last ones. Um, so the fruit trees are all pretty much in bloom right now. You're seeing some plums. Mostly, there was a peach there in the very beginning. There's my favorite little willow. Another plum, but they're starting to come into bloom and flower, so hopefully they cross pollinate and maybe we get some plums on them this year. Um, but we'll see. Um, Now we can see some of our other just small flowers that are going on, and we'll move along to the tulips. The tulips are my project. I've added a few this year, but you can see some are flowering. There's still some that haven't popped up, I know. Um, but yeah, I really am happy with the tulip patch. And back to that asparagus that I just can't stop thinking about on it. And then we're some more fruit trees. This thing was a stick for the longest time, and now it's finally getting some blooms, so that's nice. And there's the peach that had peaches last year, that fell off during the drought, and hopefully they'll stay. Um, Along here, we picked up some new shrubs, and we're going to put a border in along here. And what we did was, what we have so far that's going in that border, started laying those out in pots. And actually, they're not going to go there. I've already decided that they're going to come in more, but that's an important part of why, if they're not bare root, or you can get them in pots, like laying out any trees or shrubs you plan on planting and like leaving them there for a few days. We're also waiting on some more things to come in for this, because it gives you a chance to really think about and look at things, think about how it might be down the road, before you stick it in the ground. So yeah, that whole area will get a border at some point. Back to the asparagus, because I just can't stop thinking about that one asparagus. So this is a project that will get us on video eventually, but this is the pond, the small wildlife pond that's going in the garden, and it finally dried up enough for me to dig down some more and shape it. And then I also got the liner in, and we have the water in, and then some of the hornwort and the water lily is in there. And that's actually cleared up a lot now since I shot this video. So you'll see more of that in the future. Now I'm going to let Pastor Rob take over and narrate this next section. So last year I thought I was done clearing back more of the wood line, and then we discovered this, which you can't tell yet, is a magnolia tree. And we had lived here for 3-4 years, and it never bloomed until last year after I cut back a lot of this. So this year I was like, well, I guess I'm going further back, and so I've cut back and around it. I think there might be another one back there that's smaller, so hopefully it'll thrive this year. And I pulled all this brush out, so that's one of this week's jobs. I want to show you just how much brush came out. You can see the fence that got caught in, but I'm not sure how well it should have on camera, but all this came from around that magnolia tree and out of it. So it'll get chopped up and burned. Now on one wet day. Now this looks like a recipe for disaster, and I will be the first to tell you. Oh, look at that cool throw! Cool throw, stuck real good. You shouldn't do that, by the way, but I used my stuff, so I did it. Normally I wouldn't be like, a high recommender of starting fires with gasoline, though. That doesn't mean I don't do it, and I'm not doing it here. This was after really a full day of rainfall, so everything's really wet, like soaking wet. It's part of why you actually kind of need some like gasoline to start it, but still, don't necessarily recommend this at home. But if you're going to do it, this isn't a bad way to do it. That barrel is absolutely stuffed full of the vines and stuff you saw in the previous clip. And so like it's really packed in there. And yes, watching and editing this particular piece of video has really driven home to me that I gotta get back to working out on a regular basis. So there's that. So the other thing, like if you're gonna do it, then like move the gas can far away from where you're about to start a fire. Like don't leave it next to a fire. Gas can drip, it doesn't take much to catch. And then my other tip is to have a really long something that you're going to use to light it. And you'll see why in just a second. See? But not as dramatic as some other instances where I've done that. But definitely, you don't want to be near, because I have had them be much more dramatic than that. And that's the end of the week. And one last look at that beautiful, beautiful asparagus with the magnificent length and girth.